How to add a YouTube playlist to a Next.js React app with the YouTube API. YouTube gives content creators a ton of tools to add their work for everyone to see. But those tools only help you manage the experience on YouTube. Yup, YouTube, along with a lot of other Google services, has an API that we can use to take advantage of our content in ways outside of YouTube. And the API is pretty extensive. With YouTube's API, you can do things like manage your videos, access analytics, and manage playback. But we're going to use it for grabbing videos from a playlist so that we can add them to a page. To spin up an app, we're going to use Next.js. Using yarn or npm, we can easily create a new app that will let us dive right into the code. That script will prompt you for a project name. I'm going to use my YouTube playlist, and it will install all of the dependencies needed to get started. Then navigate to that directory and run yarn dev to start your development server, and we're ready to go. To use the API, we're going to need a new project in the Google Developer Console that will allow us to generate an API key to use the service. At this point, you can name your project whatever you'd like. I'm going with my YouTube playlist. Then click Create. By default, Google won't drop you into the new project. It kicks off a job to create that project. But once it finishes, you can open back up the project selector and select your new project. Next, we want to create an API key. Navigate to Credentials, click Create Credentials, and then select API key. Note, this API key should be kept secret. If you expose this or add it somewhere available to the public like GitHub, others can abuse it and leave you with a bill to pay. Finally, we need to add the YouTube API as a service. Navigate to Library in the sidebar. Search for YouTube, and then select YouTube Data API v3. Finally, after that page loads, click Enable, which will bring you to a new dashboard page and you'll be ready to go. Const res equals await fetch YouTube playlist items API. Part equals snippet and max results equals 50 and playlisted equals and key process.env, YouTube API key. Playlisted equals, this adds the parameter to configure the playlist ID. Here, you should update that value to the playlist ID of your choice. To make use of what we already have from Next.js, we can transform the existing grid into a grid of YouTube thumbnails. To fix this, we can start by adding the following styles to grid inside of the home module.css file. This makes sure all of our images don't exceed the container. This will prevent the overflow and will let our images settle into 2 columns. YouTube also gives controls for their own player. So using some JavaScript, we can take advantage, and when someone clicks one of our video thumbnails, we can show an embedded player and play that video. A front-end engineer and UX designer that's passionate about tackling challenges that can make the world a better place. Learn to code for free. FreeCodeCamp's open source curriculum has helped more than 40,000 people get jobs as text source, freecodecamp.org.